bad human.
Bad humans. Soldiers. Soldiers.
War for the Planet of the Apes represents the effort of over 500 people in visual effects. Some of us worked on the movie for like 2 years. The movie runs about 2 hours and 20 minutes, and all but 15 shots in the movie have visual effects. Many of the heaviest shots in the movie took over 1,400 hours per frame to render. So that's core hours, so we have a lot of those processors working at the same time. Many of the frames wouldn't come back for 2 days, 3 days.
Bad place. I find a long time ago after zoo,
Sort of the razor's edge that we walk is figuring out how to take our apes and adjust them and make the performance readable to a human audience, so it's legible as something that you and I can connect with, but also not take it so far that suddenly it doesn't feel ape-like anymore. Suddenly it feels kind of too human, and so that's sort of the kind of fine line that we ride, and that requires our animators to kind of really, it's their kind of skill and experience that comes into play there. This particular movie is it plays as sort of this epic western, where they're traveling from one location to the next, and you get to see a lot of different environments and spaces. Big environment was the prison camp, and that's where kind of most of the second half of the movie takes place. And that prison camp we actually built near the Vancouver airport in British Columbia, and it was a 70,000 square foot set, so it was a really big set, but it was surrounded by over 100,000 square feet of green screen. We needed all that screen because we had big wide shots that were kind of set quite low. And beyond this set, we needed to put the Sierra Nevada mountains. We used a process called Photogrammetry, where we went up in a helicopter and we shot reference up and down the Sierra Nevadas in that kind of region. And then we turned those still photographs into three-dimensional geometry using the photogrammetry process. And we were able to use those pieces as geometry as sort of like a kit set. And in the kind of traditional model making sense, we were able to take geometry from those mountains, cut them up, and then put them together into a way where we could achieve kind of specific compositions that matched what the director was after for that set. We developed this new piece of software called Taurah, and Taurah is it's an ecosystem simulator. So we built the terrain, and we sort of mapped resources. We kind of said, this is where the good soil is, this is where the bad soil is, and then we let the plants grow from these seeds. And we ran that simulation over the equivalent of like 80 years inside the computer, and it allowed the trees to sort of grow up. And as the trees grew, they competed with one another for resources. So they would kind of try to reach higher and higher. And what happened was a lot of complexity emerged from that simulation, and it looked a lot more realistic. And we got a lot more realistic sort of variation and naturalism from that simulation. One of the things that's so great about our job is not knowing what the next thing is, and that for us is the thing that's so much fun, is to be able to be like, okay, here's the creative challenge. How can we take our technical tools and bend them to tell this story, or what can we invent? What can we make up to be able to tell this story?
No.